Hello, welcome to Edinburgh. My name's Tony. How you doing? Today, we're going to have a little bit of fun. I have been lucky enough to get my hands on, well, I say get my hands on, to be allowed to have a look at a map, specifically a tourist map, a tourism map of Edinburgh from about 100 years ago. So let me give you a little bit of background. I can lift this up here. This is it right here. And on this side here, we have a map, which we'll look at in a minute. So this was what was called a penny guide to the Royal Mile. That was its nickname. Its nickname was a penny guide to the Royal Mile. And it was sold by a gentleman called W.J. Hay, who was a fairly well-known person in Edinburgh at the time. He had a book and curiosity shop, which hopefully you can see there. I love that front cover, it's a beautiful book. That's the back cover there as well. Just look how beautiful that is. But yeah, a book and curiosity shop. And this was sold for a penny, for 1 penny, for anyone coming to Edinburgh. And the front part has obviously the front cover, the back cover with some beautiful images of Edinburgh, all hand-drawn at the time. Not that the photographs were long since discovered by this point, but it's just hand-drawn, they're nice. And it's also got some other bits of information, objects of special interest or near Edinburgh. So there are even admission times of places, museums and galleries and all these sort of things. Information about things that are going on and what you can see and what you can do. Now, we're not going to be using that today. What we're going to do today is we're going to see if we can use a 100-year-old tourist map of Edinburgh, which I'm absolutely sure we can. This city has really not changed in 100 years, or at least this street really hasn't changed. But we'll see what is still relevant and what is not here anymore on this beauty right here. So first of all, a massive thank you to the Scottish Storytelling Centre and John Knox House for allowing me to do this, because this is theirs. This is theirs. Hayes' shop was located on the ground floor. That's where it was, which is now a bookshop here. So it was a bookshop then, it was a bookshop now as well. I think before we get started on this, I think a lot of these are going to be, I mean, the castle is still at the castle, you know what I mean? The castle's still at the top of the Royal Mile. The older buildings that are on here are still going to be here, but there might be, it looks like there's little facts and things that I'm trying not to read it too much. I don't want to give myself too much away to myself. I want to enjoy it. But we definitely will be able to see some things and find out what a tourist in Edinburgh would be enjoying 100 years ago. For instance, on the back here, it's got theatres, see daily newspapers. So it must change quite a lot. Monuments outside of the Royal Mile, churches, see Saturday's papers for Sunday services, educational, museums and art galleries, probably a lot of the same, public halls, Usher Hall, Edinburgh Castle, Regalia Banqueting Hall, Palace of Holyrood House, foot of Canongate. So there we go. It's got a lot of different information here. So let's go up to the top of the Royal Mile and start going down. Obviously, we are not going to take a 100-year-old map, which is still in beautiful condition, with us. What we're going to do is we're going to take a copy of it, and then we're going to follow the copy, which I feel is probably the best thing to do. Let's get started. So we are at the top of the Royal Mile, Edinburgh Castle, right behind me there, and I have a copy of the map. What we're going to do is we're going to go through all the reading points and see how relevant they are today, really. And the first one is, of course, Edinburgh Castle, right at the top there. So let's see what it says. In the castle are the crown and jewels of James V, and Queen Mary, the Parliament Hall, Queen Margaret's Chapel, etc. etc. So let's go through this there. Crown jewels, yeah, they're still there. The James V jewels, yes, probably. The crown itself was redesigned by a guy called James, but called Mosman. He reworked the crown that was already there, which was actually supposed to be the gold ring that Robert the Bruce was crowned with, but he redid it for James V, who was Mary Queen of Scots' dad, who then had the son James VI of Scotland, first of England. So possibly the last time they were used, really. I don't know how much they were used after that. But anyway, yes, they're in there, but now we call them the Honours of Scotland. Parliament Hall, yes, still in there. Queen Margaret's Chapel, but we call it St Margaret's Chapel now because she got canonised before this, way before this. But yes, so, etc. Fair enough. Moving on. Number one, right here, Cannonball House. Looks like it made the cut. At the back, see stone runnels for shutter dating from days before the use of glass. Okay, so it's not talking about the cannonball, which obviously we know is just there, but it is saying at back, see stone runnels for shutters dating before use of glass. Let's go see if we can get a view of that. And look at that. I never noticed that before in my life. A 100-year-old map has taught me something. Old shutter for before glass. That's brilliant. I love that. And you can still see the runners on that window there for the bigger one. That is brilliant. I've learned something from a 100-year-old map. Number two, right here, says Alan Ramsay's house on Castle Hill, now part of Ramsay Gardens, in front of the reservoir for first water supply, 1680 to 81, which is still in use. A couple of things to break down here. That is the house I'm assuming it's talking about. Still a house, and yes, Ramsay Gardens behind it, I think, as far as I'm aware. You can also see they're starting to put up the seating for the Edinburgh military tattoo and the concerts at the castle. So this is the beginning of May, so you can start to expect, if you come in any time now, not to have as clear a view of the castle like this, because the seat is going to start to go up. But that's by the way. So there we go, that's right there. And this building right here is the one that was talking about the reservoir for Edinburgh. It is no longer the reservoir, but it's funny that that's something that they want to point out. But there you go, so that's still relevant. I would say that's still relevant. That is a little bit about the house, and that's about what that building was, but is. However, it doesn't point out on the map, obviously, that is, but it does say it's next to it, so you could probably guess. I cannot tell you how excited I am that a map from over 100 years ago has just taught me something about a building I didn't know, something I didn't know about. A Cannonball House from, was obviously relevant. I mean, it's been there for a long time, we've covered that before, but that's exciting. Taught me something I didn't know from over 100 years ago that they were telling as a tourist thing. You know what I mean? And I don't know how often that gets used nowadays when it comes to tours. Brilliant. Okay, next up, 3. Doorway of Gordon House seen from Bogwell's Court. So let's find Bogwell's Court. Bogwell's Court, doorway of Gordon House seen from Bogwell's Court. So that is now the Witchery. So there we go, James Boswell. I don't know if we've got the door. Bogwell, door of Gordon's house seen from Bogwell's Court. Now it's not that, because this is on the map, and we'll have a look at that in a second. But can I sneak in? Can I have a look? It's open. Oh, it smells good. I must be doing food already. I was doing breakfasts. Could be this old door. Oh, could be this door. Could be that door. That's got some old engravings up there. I wish I could make that out. Okay. There's nothing here saying why that is relevant. Number 4. says Semple's Doorways with inscription. Now, this is Semple's Court. So let's head in there and see if we can see Semple's Doorway with inscription. Not that, unless... I don't think we can count that. I don't think... CCTV in operation. No, not that. Semple... Haha, there we go. That'll be it there. Oh, there it is. That'll be it. That'll be it. And this. So, Semple's Doorway with inscription. Here we go. Praised be the Lord, my God, my strength, and my Redeemers. Anno Domini 1668, I think. And there's another one here. Seeds Mane Optima Coli 1638. So I want to translate that for me. And it looks like there's some steps up here as well, but it's just some steps. It's just some steps, probably an old part of the building. But there we go. There we go right there. It's taught me something else as well. Would you want to come down here? Probably not. It's not very exciting and it's not very clean. You know, it's not a tourist route now, but 100 years ago, this was relevant. Okay, for Assembly Hall here, it's not really got anything. It's got on the map, which is not being very cooperative with the rain. It just says, not with the rain, with the wind, sorry. It just says, Established Church Assembly Hall. Yeah, okay. Next on the map is this one right here, Milnes Court, the first square in Edinburgh. So, I didn't know that. 1690 it's got there, but this must be Milnes Court. And this big open space here must have been the very first sort of, square. Gate keep closed at all times, so that's okay, I don't need to go in. But there we have it. According to this map, Milnes Court, the first square in Edinburgh. And, you know, not lying, it is a square. That's something else I didn't know. So that's 3 things this has now taught me from 100 years ago. The third thing that we now have from a map from over 100 years ago that doesn't really get told on tourist things. Well, maybe it does, but I didn't know it. So it's a bit difficult to dart across the road here and there because they are redoing the cobbles here. As you can see still, they're working their way down. So we'll stick on this side right now. There is a couple over there, but we will do this side that I can see right now. We're only pointing out the things that they're saying as well. So if it's not got anything, not go down it. Next one is on this side of the road, 8 James Court. James Court. Here we go. So let's go down James Court. Okay, what it says about James Court is where Boswell received Dr. Johnson, Hume Blair and other celebrities lived here. So there you go. Celebrities of the time. I'm sure if we had, you know, like Hollywood style celebrities living all over the place here, then we would. It's nice, isn't it? Parrot statue, haven't seen that for a while. It's funny what they consider relevant at the time. I definitely know the name Boswell received Dr. Johnson, Hume, Blair and other celebrities lived here. I wonder what class is a celebrity for the time as well. Next up on this side, it's got number 10, Lady Stairs House, restored and gifted by Lord Rosebery to the city. Burns Flat Lodgings was opposite the old doorway. Now, Lady Stairs close, and that must be the steps into the lodgings, and we know that Burns stayed there because there's a big plaque on the wall saying, in a house on the east side of this close, Robert Burns lived during his first visit to Edinburgh. So, Robert Burns Lodgings, if you go up there, must have been on... Whoa! Almost fell. I almost fell off here. It must have been on that side. So I didn't, there we go, there's something else. I didn't know which side of the building he was in. So that narrows it down to there. Okay, number 12, it just says Wardrops Court. So it doesn't give us any facts about that. It just tells us it's there. And there we go. It's still there with its dragon thing there. So what we'll do is we'll cut across and we'll do what we've missed on the other side of the road here. Okay, on this side of the road, it's sent us back to... does it got Riddle's Court? I thought I saw Riddle's Court somewhere. I don't know if I... Bailey Macron's house. There it is, Bailey Macron's house in Riddle's Court. Now we know that if we go in here, it's beautiful. I don't know, once again, who Bailey Macron's is, but obviously it was relevant to the time. It was relevant to the time that people were here to say that it belonged to Bailey Macmorans. So there we go. Now you know. It really is interesting to find out what they thought was interesting. It's nice to know that one of them as well was one of the things that I would have found really interesting and do find interesting about the windows up on Cannonball House. That's very cool. Okay, next one on this one, it says Brodie's Court and Roman Eagle Hall, fine ceiling, 1645 to 46. Now, might be difficult for us to see this, and the reason I'm saying that is because it's a cafe now. The whole close is a cafe, so it kind of makes it difficult for us to kind of see what it's talking about. But I can say here that's a nice ceiling. Deacon's House and Scottish Cafe it's got there, and it is a beautiful, beautiful building right here. But I don't know what. Oh, that's a shame. Brodie's Court and Roman Eagle Hall. I don't know what that is. I don't know where that is, and I'm obviously not going to disturb people eating. So if you get a chance to go into that cafe, let me know if it's got a nice ceiling. Apparently. Finished the first section there. Gladstone Land. Let's point out Gladstone's Land is not on this map, so obviously it wasn't open to the public then. Deacon Brodie's pub is just a pub. And not much about the shops. It really just tells you about some of the closes. So most of the places that you would want to visit then, you would want to visit now as well. I would say that's not bad. So let's see what it says there as well. Anyway, let's cross the road. Number 11, New County, number 11 as we cross the road, New County Buildings. So that would be this. That's all it says about it. New County Buildings. So there you go, now you know. I don't have anything else to say about that. That's all it says. So that's all we know. This part of me doesn't want to look up more. Now, we're a little bit limited because some of the things referenced on here might have been on the back of the map, which we don't have. We can only do what we can do. So let's see. What was number 12? Number 12 was back there for some reason. What was number 12? Number 12 was Wardrops Court. Oh, we've done that already. Okay. Number 13. Advocates, Signet and Solicitor's Library. Okay. Now that makes sense since the law offices used to be over there. And what it's saying is number 13 is over this side. St Giles Street, it's got here, St Giles, just so you can get your bearings here. St Giles Street, so you can see there. That is St Giles Street, but it doesn't really give us anything about it. It just says it's a street. It's not lying, it still is. Number 14, which is on that side as well. Where are you, 14? Byers Close and Commandery Adam Bothwell's house, seen from Advocates Close, described in Scott's Guy Mannering and Stevenson's Catriona. Don't know what any of that is. So again, someone's house that we don't know. But let's go back to what we were looking at. 13, Advocate, Signet and Solicitor's Library. It says here 13, it says it's right here. So that must have been these buildings here in West Parliament Square. What is the name of this building, just so that we know if that is kind of that? Edinburgh, is it a French? Is this the French embassy? Maybe. Yeah, French consulate right there, so, okay. Right. 13 was Advocate Signet. Yep, 14 was Buyers Close. And yeah, we've done that. We don't quite know what any of them are over there, but when we get to Advocate Close over there, we will go have a look. 15, Parliament Hall and Courts of Justice, John Knox grave. So that is still relevant. And here we are for number 15, Parliament Hall. Right here, because this was the site of the old Scottish Parliament before the Treaty of Union, where it joined the Parliament down in London. Now Supreme Court's up there, but it's definitely was lawyers and things in there. And it also says John Knox grave, which is right there. There it is. Now, St Giles, which is only just opened, and you can see people heading into it right now, all it is St Giles. It's got a little heart there as well, because it just says Heart of Midlothian. So, it points them out, doesn't really give you much information about them though. But they're there, they were there then, and they're still there now. So, the one I was saying earlier, Buyers Close and Commandant Adam Bothwell's house. We can't go in anyway. It's privately owned, so we can't go in there. But Advocates Close, it does say we can see it from there. So let's go. Let's go see what it says. This looks like a newer building, so it could be that one there that it's referring to. But we can't really get a good view of it, unfortunately, just because of where all the buildings are. Moving on. Now, next up on here, City Market Cross, restored W.E. Gladstone. Now, that's the Market Cross right there. Now, the reason it says restored is because it had a lot of refurbishment work and it was moved. So, going by when this map came out, that would have been in living memory when that happened, probably by about 50 to possibly 60 years. I can't remember. I don't know exactly what year this came out. But let's say early 1900s, probably about right. And I think this got restored in about 1850-ish. So that would have been within living memory for a lot of people here that it got moved. Very few people here now even know that this isn't the original site of it. But the original site of it is here. It's just there. And that's the old outline of it right there. So they didn't move it far. They moved it from here to there when they were restoring it. Why they did that, I have no idea, but they did. But like I said, that would have been in living memory for the people during this map. What is interesting to know on here, number 19, Police Chambers and Lost Property Office, scene of Great Fire of 1824. So yes, this was part of the scene. This was the scene of the Great Fire. We've covered that before. That would have been the police station and lost property. On the Royal Mile, lost property. We were in a day and age where people would have just taken anything they found to the police station because people were far more trustworthy and nice, as opposed to nowadays where we'd probably just see them pocket it. But the lost property office on the Royal Mile, I don't think that would even be busy nowadays, you know what I mean? But there we have it. For the beautiful City Chambers, it just has City Chambers. Anything that's obviously big and obvious, they're just like, yeah, that's there. You should be able and use it as a reference point to let us know where we are. Another thing to point out, Mary King's Close, obviously not on here because it wasn't open at the time. In fact, possibly forgotten about at that point, because this building had been built over the top of it. So, if anything, maybe used for storage, but most likely just built on top of. So Mary King's Close, sorry you didn't make the cut then. Let's see, where are we? After that, it just tells us about some closes. You know, it just says this is this close, this is this close, this is this close. So Old Assembly Close on that side, 22, 24, 26. we're jumping down. Old Craig, Old Post Office Close. So yeah, it's really just telling us the names of closes at this point. Nothing much of interest. So again, probably more good for reference of where you were than anything else. Wait a minute. I've just noticed something I didn't know before. Number 18, Allen's Court, at foot of which Deacon Brodie planked his burglar's tools. Ah, it says Allen's Close, not Allen's Court. Now, going by the picture, it's after that, so it must have been here somewhere. Unfortunately, I'm guessing it's gone, which is a bit sad. I don't know how old this building is though. The entrance to Allen's Close closed 1932, so it was in there. There we go. I didn't know that. I did not know that. There's another bit of history that I didn't know. It doesn't really give us anything else about this area right here, apart from the names of some of the closes. That's about it really here, until we get down to 33 Stevenson's Close, and 31 it says Scottish Children's League of Pity, SPCC, and Children's Shelter. So, I'm just looking ahead to what I think is in that space now, and it's very different. So obviously we're in a time where Scottish Protection of Cruelty to Children obviously existed. I'm just guessing that that's what that is, and Children's Shelter. But going by where 31 is, because it's not saying it's on a close, it's just got a number there. Must have been here somewhere, possibly in that gate beside the Starbucks. I'm gonna guess that's in there, because it's not a close. It's not got a name of a close, and neither does this here. 31 could be in there. Has it got Stenlaw's? See that? Stenlaw's Close isn't on here, so it could have been in there. Could have been in there. Could have been this building here. Probably. I didn't know that was there. Another bit of history right there that I didn't know. It's funny what you can learn from something from 100 years ago. Like I said, it's really interesting to find out what they thought was interesting as a history thing. Now, obviously, it's got Coburn Street, which we know very well. It's just got an arrow pointing down Coburn Street. No, it just says Coburn Street. It doesn't even say leading to Princess Street or anything. It just says Coburn Street. And this one right here, leading to Cowgate or Southgate, once the fashionable quarters of Edinburgh. Not sure we'd call it that now, but still. Okay, Tronkirk made the cut. There it is right there, still there. That's all it says about it, is Tronkirk. So, yeah. It doesn't say anything about it, it just says Tronkirk, so can't do it. North Bridge, and bridge to Old Southern University in the suburbs. It's not wrong, that's the way that still goes now. And North Bridge, right there, still not lying. So 32, where are we? 32, leading to Cowgate or Southgate, that's 32, we've done that one already. Nidri Street, still there. 35, Dixon's Close. 32, Caruber's Close, where Alan Ramsay's Theatre was built. Archbishop Spotswood House on right. Now, let's have it, because it looks like there's a lot of closes immediately there. That's Carberry's Close. That's Carberry's Close right there. Then you see this plaque. In 1736, Alan Ramsay launched a theatre which the magistrates closed. There we go. So there was a theatre. It's on here. I didn't know, and that's probably unusual for me because I do like to read plaques. I don't know why I haven't read that one before, but there you go. After that, we've got names of some closes. So Dixon's Close, Cant's Close. Dixon Close is now part of that hotel there. The Close is now in memory only. A bus. Always in my videos we get stopped by a bus. So yeah, that one's here in memory only, and so is Cant's Close, because this building is far newer, far newer. Let me zoom out so you can see a little bit more. This building is far newer. In fact, just last night, me and my wife were just, because I'm a geek, we're watching an old video which just had pictures of Edinburgh from just over 100 years ago, about the time of this, and this was a very different building. All this work was begun by Duncan on 10th of January 1989 and ended be them on the 31st of March 1990. I love how they've tried to use old writing for something that is, you know, not that long ago. But Cant's Close right there as well, again by name only really, not the original, but it's nice to keep it. Same with Melrose Close right there as well. And then over here it's just got the names of all the closes as well. So there, that's obviously nothing much for it to tell us there, until we get down to one of my favourites. What I will say is, for a lot of these closes, which I'm not just going to go to for no reason, but they tell you about people that I don't know anymore. Like see 43, South Grace Close or Old Mint Close, House of Erskine family. Obviously a prominent family at the time. Funny that they would just say this is where they live. Hinford's Close, where Scott was made a mason in St David's Lodge. I'm guessing that's talking about Sir Walter Scott. These are all on the opposite side of the road, by the way. Fountains Close, inscribed doorway of Fullerton House. Paisley Close. Heave a wall, chaps, I'm no jet. And it's on here, but where is it? Number 42, right there. Heave a wall, lads, land, which fell in 1861. Heave a wall, lads, land. Now, let me just remind you as well, early 1900s, much like Market Close, this falling would have been in living memory. And they've called it Heave a wall, lads, land. There would have been people who helped dig this people out. They would have been old by that point. Possibly even the young lad might have still been alive when this map was being used. Seeing his face on there, Heave a wall, lads, land. That really makes me laugh. But yeah, most of this now is just saying the names of the closes. A lot of this is rebuilt. So because that's obviously a newer building. These would have been here then. John Knox House, where actually this map would have been sold in what was the little shop right there. And it's not really got much about Mowbray House next to it, but next part we need to go on a little bit further. Number 48, built in the wall, is a tablet showing the Netherbow port, which formed the ancient barrier between Edinburgh and the Canongate. And we know that that right there is still there. So it's pointed out at that point right there, which I'm not sure a lot of maps do nowadays either. So important then, not so important now. This is obviously a map after my own heart here, because I did know this one though. Chessel's Court, where Deacon Brodie burgled the excise office, which is here. This is Chessel's Court. Now, I don't think the excise office is here. It's residential now. So I think a lot of the buildings have kind of gone from then, or changed what they are, because that looks a decent age. They look a decent age. This doesn't. They look a decent age. So the view could have been fairly... No, when Deacon Brodie was alive. View's probably changed a bit. But still, I like that it's got these Deacon Brodie references. I'm still waiting for someone to write a TV programme for me to star in as Deacon Brodie. If anyone wants to get on that, that'd be great. 62, Little Jack's Land, first floor, Lady Eggleton's Lodgings, second floor, David Hume's Lodgings. So again, just pointing out where what they would class as famous people of the time lived. Yeah, I'm really sad to lose that it's not here anymore. 62, Little Jack's Land, first floor, where Lady Eggleton's Lodgings, second floor, David Hume's Lodgings, and 64, Big Jack's Close. How sad am I they would have been right here, that we now no longer have a close called Big Jack's Close. I am finding it just so enjoyable that something from so long ago has got information that we don't really use now, or we don't really share now. I find it fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I'm finding a few differences here, at least for some of it. Some of the things I've got, some of them are old, but I know that's different, just because I've seen pictures, so I know some of this is different. So it's difficult for me to find some of the exact points here. This is where we are, kind of between New Street and Canongate toll booth right there. We're at this section right here. And it's got 62 Little Jack's Land, yeah, we missed that. 64 Big Jack's Close, 66 Gladstone's Court, no, and 68 Bible Land, Hall of Canongate Stonemakers. I'm gonna guess it was here. I know that's a newer building, a newer area. Who knew we had a Bible Land? I didn't. I really, really didn't. And then on the other side here, not very much here. St John Street, which we've just kind of passed up there, so it's not really got much here, possibly because Murray House is down here, but it's not really telling me much about this particular spot, apart from the fact that we've got the old Canongate toll booth. What does it say about the Canongate toll booth here? It says Canongate, oh, let me get that in focus for you. It says Canongate toll booth wine, Canongate Cross and Church. In the churchyard are buried many Edinburgh worthies, including Robert Ferguson, to whom Burns erected the tombstones. Oh, that's further, that's just there. So it's not really got much about the Canongate toll booth. It's got the church, but not about the toll booth itself. Murray House, St John's Lodge, Bakehouse Close, Bakehouse Close and House are very fine. That's all it says about Bakehouse Close. Obviously nothing about Outlander, we're a little bit before then, but it does say they're very fine. Now, there's one here that I wish, 69, which on here is here. St John's Street, which is further up there a little bit, and I don't know if it still has, but it's got here St John's, Canongate, Kilmainham, the oldest Freemasons lodge room in Scotland, if not in the world. The chapel contains a very old organ and a museum. I don't know if that's still there. It would have been interesting to see. Sugar House Close, that's right behind me right now. Huntley House, which is right here, that's what this is. It's not really saying much about this, but obviously that's part of the old toll booth jail. Now the people's story. We covered that it's got the church here already. And Bakehouse Close right there, which is set. I love that. I love these little sort of, no, it's Bakehouse Close and Atkins House are very fine. Well, there we go. For those of you who are Outlander fans, it's very fine. It's very fine. Now I'm going to cross the road here. Well, I think we can definitely see that these are newer. So we've definitely lost some things here at Wilson's Court. It would have been this side here. After Murray House, 73, Sugar Close, 73 Bakehouse, 75, site of French Gardens, Milton House, now a school. That's way down there, the school. So it's really not telling us much about this area right here, apart from the fact that site of flat gardens where French pears were grown. So there you go, pears were grown there, which apparently was tourist worthy. It actually really jumps here. It actually really jumps. Apparently it doesn't think there's very much here that's worthy of seeing. It's really given me very little of note, whereas we know that Dunbar's Close in there is absolutely beautiful and well worth a little visit. But yeah, it's really not saying anything that's interesting. Sorry, Starbucks. Panmure Close is telling me Adam Smith's house, and we still have a plaque here. In Panmure House on the east side of this close, Adam Smith lived 1778 to 1790, so only for 2 years. but worthy of a note. Palmere House now only accessible from Little Lock End Close. Okay, well there we go. So yeah, it's not really giving us much here. Yeah, I'm running out of kind of Queensbury House. It's down here. We've already read about the school. Sorry, I was reading ahead. It's kind of actually difficult because obviously there's so many closes and they're in quite close quarter together. It's kind of difficult to tell sometimes exactly where you are on here. I'm reading ahead a few times, but let's go a little bit further down to the next sort of point of reference on here. From the toll booth to that pub right there. So from, you can't even see it now, you can't even see the toll booth from where I am, you can't see the clock sticking out. It's got nothing. There was apparently nothing of interest there and very little on the other side. It's funny, I feel like they squashed it in a lot at the top. I mean, history must have happened here, you know what I mean, there must be something, but then again, it's funny what it considers to be interesting history. Like right now, it's now got this as Golfer's Land, dates from 1503 and was celebrated hostelry in the 17th century. Now that is where this is now. And actually the only reason I know that is because of a plaque on the wall down here that I just happened to have read previously because I'm a geek. And that is this one here, Golfer's Land. On this site stood the tenement known as Golfer's Land. It was built in the late 17th century by Bailey John Patterson. The golfer with it is said he shares off the stakes from a golf match when he partnered the Duke of York, afterwards James VII, against two English noblemen. The bronze coat of arms is a copy of a stone carving which was built into Golfer's Land. Another panel with Latin inscription by Dr. Pitcairney, which may be seen in the courtyard to the rear, links the Patterson family with the building and the name of the golf. So there we go. So that's the only reason I know that that was there, because I just happened to have read that in the past, because, you know, me. And then after Golfer's Land, it's got nothing on this side of the street. It's got White Horse Inn, which we know White Horse Close is in there, but it says from there all the way down there, all the way down to heading towards the bathhouse, Queen Mary's bathhouse, is nothing of interest. On the other side here, 73 Bakehouse Close, we're past that, so that's way back there. That is way back there. I can't see Bakehouse Close now either. 77 Milton House, now a school, that's there. 79 Nisbet of Durlington's house, 1664. This looks way newer, so must be gone. And 81, the numbers are kind of gone a little bit in Fosbury. Queensbury House, it must be Queensbury House. Lady Stairs was a welcome guest. It is now a house of refuge for the destitute. It's now part of the Scottish Parliament, so make of that as you will. And then all of this bottom section here is now the brand new Scottish Parliament building, so completely, you know, irrelevant now from what's on here. It does say House of Refuge after that. Site of Whitford House, my Lord Seaton described in Scots the Abbot. See tablet on wall. Gone. Horsewind formed the carting entrance to the Royal Mews and was not the only wind a horse could go through. So that's kind of it, really. And then lastly, it's got Holyrood Palace right at the bottom there, which we know is still there. So there we have it. A 100-year-old, over 100-year-old map of the Royal Mile. Is it still relevant? Some of it. Canongate not so much. But definitely the top section, some of that is still relevant. I learned things from a 100-year-old map I didn't know. Now, I am by no means an expert. I am not an expert. I am not a historian. I'm just an avid fan. I've said that many, many times. I'm not a historian. I'm just someone who loves to share and enjoys our history. But that was fun. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It's funny comparing what they thought was of historical or tourist interest to now, because 99.9% of people, not just like from around the world, from Edinburgh, wouldn't know half of those people, wouldn't know most of those people that were named in there. So it's quite interesting compared to what they would know, who they would be thinking about, who they would know were in Edinburgh or had been, compared to nowadays. It's one thing we don't do here. We're really bad at teaching our own history. There's so much great stuff, but we don't get taught it. A lot of people have commented on my videos saying, the stuff that I share about Edinburgh, they don't get to know themselves. So when they're at school. And that's a shame. You should have local history. You should have local relevant history. But there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that today. I hope I can do something like that again, because that was fun. I'll have to try to find other stuff. But till next time. Oh, like, share, subscribe. Bye, humans.